PSI, when patient come to us, my technician takes the patient inside, make him lie down. After that, if we are doing the standing, we make the machine from the lying down position to stand at 69 degree we go, and we do the scan in the weight bearing sequence, in which we can see the pathology better as compared to the lying position. Same way, when we do the cervical spine, we make the patient sit down, and then the patient is having his foot on the footrest. Patient is sitting erect, and the cervical spine coil is placed, and the patient scan is done in sitting position comfortably. So many patients come to us and ask why you are doing the dynamic MRI. So when we do the dynamic MRI, we actually asking the patient to move the hand, moving it towards or away from the body by doing internal or external rotation. In this way, we can see the pathology better. For example, the labral ears, we have to classify them in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. Also, when we move the hand, we can see is there any subacromial impingement, joint space reduction. Dynamic MRI of shoulder is done to rule out the difference in SLAP 1 and SLAP 2 type of labral lesions. That's why we do dynamic imaging of the shoulder in our center. Dynamic MRI of knee joint is done to rule out is there any translation of patella, is there any lateral translation, is it low lying or is it high riding patella sometimes. Also, in the axial images, we can figure out whether there is a torn ligament of the patella and there is lateral translation. Dynamic MRI of ankle is not done at many centers, but we do it via purpose. And the purpose is that sometimes to see the location of the osteochondral lesion and talodome in respect to the medial malleolus of tibia. If the movement of the osteochondral defect is anterior in the dynamic movement, it means the surgery is easy. If it is posterior, it is difficult to treat, and if it is going beyond that, more posteriorly, then they have to do the osteotomy in that case.
We do weight bearing MRI sequence for spine and for knee joint. In the case of spine, we see that the disc compression increases in the standing position as compared to the supine position, because under the effect of gravity and when the patient is standing, disc is more prominent and is causing the compression of the cord. However, sometimes in the supine position, we can't see the compression. That's how it aids and is a better sequence as compared to the supine position. In our center, we have 3D shark sequence for the bone scan, in which we can see the osteochondral defects in bone much better as compared to 3 Tesla scans, because here this sequence is very close to the CT scan study, which can show the bone better as compared to MRI study. In case of standing and supine sequence, when it's done for the same patient, we see the differences on lot of parameters, and we give a report of quantitative imaging which is called Q spine. Here we are measuring the lordosis angle in both positions, sacral angle, intervertebral angles, vertebral collapse, vertebral wedging, intervertebral translation, intervertebral listhesis, spinal canal thickness, spinal canal section, and spine curvature measures L1, L3, L5 angle and L2 to L4 displacement. This we give as a quantitative measurement both in the supine and standing sequences and compare it.